Y'all boomer, you'll need you an MD like Eastside Sin. Dominating of the Eastside shall commence, and I shall commence it. I'm the truth, Joe. Though they try to block me like Munoz, I know my call is worth like phone call. I get brain hurt day.
Welcome to the fourth ever Shear Sports Podcast. I am Adam Shear, the host of this. It's been a while, guys. Sorry for the big delay. Been busy with some summer school going on down here at Indiana University. I'm going to switch up the program today. The big thing I want to do now is I'm going to discuss one thing that's a national topic, one thing that is a Indiana-specific topic, and then my last thing will be a Bloomington sports topic. So the first thing we're going to start with today is my national sports topic. And while I'm a little bit behind schedule here with this, the thing that I want to talk about is Kobe Bryant's place in NBA history. For those of you who are living under a rock, the Lakers won their second straight championship, and Kobe now has 5 rings. For those of you keeping score at home, the score is now Kobe 5, Shaquille O'Neal 4. That being for the people who are still stuck in 2004. So, after Kobe won this championship, the entire sports world has kind of started to create the question, where does Kobe Bryant stand in NBA history? Some have put him at second, some don't believe he's top 10. I think second's a little too high. I think not being in the top 10 is absurd. I love watching Kobe Bryant play. I don't want to sound biased, but he has the best killer instinct I've seen since Reggie Miller. There's really not a guy in the league who can match his clutch ability, but I don't think he is the second best still. He's certainly a top 10 player, though, and I think that's where it's kind of a no-brainer. I think when it really comes down to it, player number 1, player number 2, and player number 3 are all guys that are pretty much set in stone for NBA eternity. The first being Michael Jordan, the second being Magic Johnson, and kind of the wild card guy is Oscar Robertson. For those of you who haven't seen any of these guys play, turn on ESPN Classic sometime, watch some old NBA games, and you'll see why there's really not going to be any player that's going to be better than those 3 guys. After those 3, though, it kind of gets debatable. I mean, a friend and I were having the conversation the other day about this, and he ranked Kobe Bryant in 8th, and I think that's a fair rating. I believe when it comes to players kind of between that 4 through 10 range, it's really kind of, you can pick it out of a hat. But I'm going to slot Kobe Bryant at 4th. I'm going to put Kareem Abdul-Jabbar 1 slot ahead of him simply because of the fact that Kareem is the all-time NBA scoring leader. Kobe Bryant could eventually get that. But as of now, I'm going to say Kareem's 4th of all time. That skyhook shot that he developed kind of created the game that centers are playing today. It's really something that he made popular and something that just never could be stopped. So that really was his forte. Kobe Bryant is kind of a clash of a bunch of different offensive players, so he really doesn't have that same thing that he was known for quite like Kareem. Rounding out my top 10 players would be Bill Russell, Larry Bird, Hakeem Olajuwon, Tim Duncan, and Elgin Baylor. And I want to get back to Kobe Bryant before I touch on why those guys are ranked behind Bryant in my opinion. Now, obviously, the players who I listed underneath them are all incredible players, but I believe at this point in his career, Kobe has established himself as the best player of his era, so you got to put him above Duncan already. And let alone, he's playing in a much better era than any of those other players did. Now, the first argument against Kobe is always the Shaquille O'Neal argument against him, being that a lot of people believe that Kobe rode Shaq for the first 3 rings. I don't think that you can argue that anymore, though. Kobe has appeared in 3 finals without Shaq now. Now, he did lose the first one that he played in without Shaquille against the Celtics a few years ago, but he was the most valuable player for his team. Obviously not in that series. Paul Pierce was the most valuable player, but for his team, Kobe was the most valuable on the Lakers then. They didn't really have the cohesive unit that they have now. A large part of that is accredited to Andrew Bynum being healthy in the playoffs more often now. He sat out against the Celtics, and that size really helped them this season. But, you know, Kobe was also the best player on the Lakers when they lost to the Pistons that one season. I think that the Lakers were a little too aged at that point for Kobe to get a ring. But nonetheless, he was the best player on his team then. He was a little more selfish then, so that's kind of a discredit to him. But I want to talk about Kobe now because I hate to reflect on the past. Where the guy is now is as the fifth best player in NBA history. He has all the tools of a fantastic basketball player. He's an exceptional shooter. He makes great decisions with the ball now. Obviously, that was a big knock in the past when he used to have a higher turnover to assist ratio. He plays well off the ball as well, which is huge. When you're such a great offensive player and you can pull two guys away, it creates a lot more opportunities for your team offensively. Not to mention, let's not forget, this guy is an all-NBA type defensive player, which is a huge deal. Saying that Kobe is only offense is not true at all. The guy plays exceptionally well against teams' best players almost every time. And you saw that in the finals when Ron Artest was struggling against Paul Pierce. Kobe pretty much demanded to guard Pierce. He's a guy that really likes to take on that challenge of being his team's best defensive player. And when you have Ron Artest, that's saying a lot because Ron really established himself in the league as one of the better defenders on the wing. He also has one of the most offensive repertoires that we've seen in NBA history. He's mixed elements of Michael Jordan's game, Oscar Robertson's game, Jerry West's game. Pretty much any legend that you can think of, Kobe has stolen something or other of those players' games and made it his own. The guy just can't be stopped sometimes offensively because he knows what to do when a certain player is guarding him. And that kind of post move that he draws even sometimes out from the three-point line where he backs you down a couple steps and then pulls back and hits a three or just a mid-range jumper is insane, and it's something that every time I see him do it, I'm just like, wow, this guy is just so nasty. I can't believe anybody even would want to guard him. The big argument, though, is this era of basketball. You look at players in the league now compared to the early 2000s, and they are so incredibly talented. You can roll through lists and lists of guys who are probably going to end up at some point or other in the Basketball Hall of Fame. You have LeBron, you have Carmelo, you have Dwayne Wade, you have Dwight Howard, you have Kevin Durant. There's so many players these days that are just incredibly talented, and Kobe Bryant is the best player in the NBA still, ahead of all those great players. So saying that, you go back to like Bill Russell, how many great Hall of Fame type players were in the league then, let alone guys who were really athletically gifted, really good defensive players, really good shooters. I mean, obviously in the 50s, a lot of guys were really good shooters, but the athleticism was not near where it was today. They didn't play against the amount of defense that they play against today, and they don't play against guys that were much taller like they are in today's game. So